I don't know that we're always successful because stress is hard and we can all get caught up in it, but we do make an effort to regroup and to help each other out. And I think that's the most important thing. We have a new staff member who just started in January, and at our first staff meeting she said, I've never worked with a better group, and that was such a nice thing to hear. And I think that's because even though we have our days and we get stressed, we do try to come back to the drawing table and support one another, and that's really critical. If the community of teachers doesn't want to support one another, we're not going to be very successful in supporting the parents or the students. So it's nice to see.
It was just more along the lines of the other person. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to explain, but the other person just kind of doesn't read me in terms of expression or telling how like my stress level and that kind of stuff. And you know, I felt awkward bringing that up with them, although it should be addressed. It's just a little bit more difficult to do that. And in my situation, the other person was much older than me, so I felt the respect lines were a little harder to cross. So yeah, it's so much easier when the other person is laid back and flexible and knows your personality and can work with you on that. And that's just what we have now. So I mean, they're my support system, and if I can't use them as support, then things aren't working. And the kids would be able to feed off of that as well.
The teamwork, me and my assistant, we have a great teamwork. We are able to bounce ideas off each other, work together. When I'm getting stressed, she can see it and she'll step right in, and I do the same for her. So we have that relationship where we can read each other, and it's also not, I'm lead teacher, she's assistant. We kind of co-teach and help each other out as best as possible, which makes our room flow extremely well because we're both there, we're both involved, and we both know what each other is thinking. So the teamwork really helps, and it's even a stress reliever because I know I can count on her to be there when I'm just at my limit.
So when you have someone with you, it's so important to establish that relationship, and communication is absolutely essential to that process. I think that that's what we do the best. We collaborate with each other. We learn what each other's strengths are, what each other's weaknesses are. We have, here at the Child Development Center, this is something I learned a long time ago in Michigan when I was working with a group of people, and we were in a toddler room, and we had a code word that we said. At the time it was Eiffel Tower. Here we use, we need a drink of water. So if a staff member says, I need a drink of water, that tells the rest of us that that person needs a break. Whatever that may be. It might be a break from a child, it might just be to get out of this room and breathe, whatever that is. That's our code word, we know it. And that collaboration makes for a happier staff, I think, and I think children know that.
All right, you girlfriend, switcheroo. You learn from your coworkers from being with them. We have, you know, this thing that we call mini meetings. Just we have those twice a week. We call them mini meetings. So yeah, twice a week we have them, and basically we go over different things like what makes us stress, what makes us what I may need that another teacher may not need. You know, some teachers like hugs. Some teachers are not as, you know, close and affectionate. Some teachers need to vent. Some teachers need to listen. You know, so we learn that about each other, and I think we're pretty good with each other. You know, but we're pretty open here. Like if I'm having a rough morning, I can say to Paula, I can say I'm having a rough morning. You know, and she may say, well, do you need me to come in, or do you need a 15-minute, or, you know, I take naps. That makes me feel better, and exercise. So that works for me.